Howdy ho, neighbor Renos. So I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. If you haven't watched one of my videos before, well, I'm here to help. And today what we're going to be covering is the F-150 Lightning. We're going to be doing a don't be fooled section because, well, I'm worried that there's a lot of misinformation out there about the Lightning. I could give out a lot of examples, but one, for example, is just recently, they're talking about how the prices for one major news source, written news source, was saying about how prices had gone way up, and instead of 39,974, they were talking about like 52,900, and it just wasn't the case. So I'm going to see how the community likes the F-150 Lightning. If there's demand for it, there'll be more videos. I'll do a build-in price on each trim level, talk about all the equipment you can have, how I personally build each trim and why. But first I'm going to see if there's any interest in it by doing the most important thing first. So I want to make sure you're well taken care of, even if there's only 100 viewers for this community that actually wants to know about the Lightning. I want those 100 viewers to be well taken care of. So let's talk about the F-150 Lightning and how and what you need to know to make sure you don't get fooled. So let's just put the pedal to the metal and start right up. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about pricing, we're going to be talking about technology, we're going to be talking about towing, specs, the big battery, and what you can actually do with the vehicle. So all the most important stuff on the don't be fooled. And also I want to manage expectations about delivery times, if and when you're going to get a Lightning, and will it be marked up? Because that's another huge don't be fooled situation. There's things you're going to do while you order that are going to help you avoid markups. And also I am going to talk about how Ford, there was leaked information about Ford sending a very clear email to dealers. They don't use the word markup, but it's pretty clear what they're talking about. That's a whole different don't be fooled section. But let's actually start with that. Let's just jump right in, talk about pricing. So the pricing should start, and do remember $2,000 to add on to these prices for transport. But the Pro model starts at $39,974. The XLT starts at $52,974. The Lariat, $67,474. And the Platinum starts at $90,874. However, this is the first don't be fooled section. When you're building, and if I do get to build in price, I'll be doing it model by model, starting with the Pro. But the build in price would kind of give you the impression that you can have the extended range battery on the Pro. And it's not really available, I'd say, for 99% of us, because the extended range battery on the Pro is a fleet only order. And on the XLT, you actually need to get up way up in the equipment. You're adding almost $12,000 of equipment to get the extended range battery. Essentially, you need to take a fully equipped XLT, which is going to make it a lot more like what we would currently know as, in the engines, the gas-powered ones currently out there. We'd compare that more to a 302 XLT. So that's the code for the fully loaded XLT. Well, to get the big battery on the XLT, you need to go full out equipment. So oddly enough, months ago, but last June or July, the morning after the reveal of the Lightning, I did say that I expected the Lightning to weigh about 6,500 to 7,000 pounds. Because I compared weight, we didn't have weight back then, and I compared the added weight of a Mach-E versus an Escape, tried to have a good guesstimate of what the battery weighs. Of course, the battery on the Lightning is a little bit bigger, and guess what? It ended up being 6,500 pounds. But let's just get to that in either later in this video or future videos. Let's really stick to the stuff you really gotta know, the don't be fooled stuff. So the Pro model, $39,974. It's got a decent vinyl interior. Now, here's a quick don't be fooled. I've got marine grade vinyl in my Bronco, and even Marie-Pierre loves it. We love that interior. There's nothing wrong with vinyl. Actually, I find it pretty, I do prefer leather. It feels better, but vinyl really does do the job. And I don't think you should not consider the Pro because of the vinyl interior. It's going to boil down to equipment and what it does and does not come with. And I think a lot of people are going to end up with either a fully loaded XLT or a Lariat. And I think the extended range battery is going to be pretty popular because the regular battery, you're looking at 230 miles of autonomy versus the bigger battery, 300 miles of autonomy. We will get to talking about charging in a moment because a lot of people are going to think that, you can't charge this at home because it's going to take, it's going to take 40, 50, 60. I've even heard people say, oh, it's going to take like 70 hours. That's just not the case. We'll get to charging in just a moment. Now, let's cover the most pressing issue, the most concerning issue. A lot of people are going to be thinking like, well, what's going on? The order banks are open and no one's calling me to order. My dealer hasn't called me. Have they forgot about me? Am I even on their list? We'll take a breather and I'll let you know this is pretty simple. You're not going to be ordering likely your Lightning for a good amount of time. Just to give you an example, my local dealer has about 105 reservations, and for 2022 models, they're going to get about 10. Now, I'm 11th on that list, and that doesn't mean I'm definitely not getting a 2022, because some people on the list in front of me, there's already been one who's canceled. I was originally 12th, and we'll see how things go for that. But it does let you know that a lot of people further on doesn't mean it's going to take 10 years to get to the end of the list, because Ford each year will be producing far more Lightnings each year. So year one is almost like a demo year. There'll be so few out there, will feel more like they're demos. But dealerships, by the way, it looks like they will not be getting demos. Ford's really concentrating on the customers. So there's going to be 6 waves. Each wave is going to be roughly the plan, 2 weeks long. So we're talking about 12 weeks roughly. These waves, what are they? Well, they're your chance to possibly get an invitation to go order at your dealer. So the dealer, when you put in your reservation, you had a chance to pick out a dealer or the nearest one was assigned to you. And that dealer is going to call you up. Obviously, they're going to be excited to get to drop this order in and use up their allocation. So they'll call you up. You'll get to go, you'll be invited, you'll get to build it as you wish. So currently, if you're not getting a phone call, there shouldn't be too much here to worry about. You've got your reservation, and here's a little helpful hint. I was night 1, but I ordered about, I'd say, 40 minutes after the reveal ended. I thought, like the Bronco, that the order bank would only be opened up at the end of the reveal. So I watched through the whole reveal, super excited. And then I had technical problems. And finally, when my order did go through, it was 45 minutes later. And that put me 12th originally on the list at a dealer that's going to get 10. So if you're not within the first, 20, 30 minutes, and in some areas maybe the first 10 minutes, because maybe in some areas the Lightning is more popular or there's more knowledge and know. People, my area, maybe they're not quite as in the know because the Bronco didn't have as much of a splash. Some areas had way more orders. But simply put, if you're not within the first 30 minutes, you probably should not be expecting to get a call, at least in the first few waves. And if you're day 2 or 3, well, then you're probably not going to be getting a 2022 order invitation. So if you are, great. I'll have videos showing you how to order it, and that will be for another day. First, let's see if this gets any traction, if this is actually helping people, because my goal really is to help. So let's just continue on with the don't be fooled. So to summarize that, 6 waves, 12 weeks, the next 4 months are going to be people ordering up who put in a reservation within about the first half hour. Now, sometime in the summer, people who get to order and build an order at the dealer, their 2023 Lightning, are going to get invited to do so. So very likely it's going to continue to be a wave process, because that's just smart. Imagine if all, 200,000 reservations, all more or less within the first week or two, run to their dealer thinking that somehow gets them their Lightning sooner. They all run in, they all order up, and then nothing. And of course, once people order, they really feel like, hey, I'm going to get it soon, because traditionally that was the case. Now, this would really kind of be unfortunate because a whole lot of people would have to go back again to order a 2023 and some a 2024. And maybe even so, some people very far on lists at dealers that have huge lists versus the amount they're going to get per year, maybe even 2025. But the good news is by 2025, Ford's going to be making a load of these. If I recall, I've done videos on this in the past when I do news releases. I believe 2025 is about 160,000 Lightnings planned, and Ford, it's clear that they're doing absolutely everything to produce as many, and the plan continues to be more. So twice they've already increased the amounts, and they released that publicly saying, look, originally we're planning on making X number, we want to double that, and that's not year one. They want to double that. It takes time. You can't just say, hey, in 4 months, we're going to produce 3 times more than originally produced because, supplies. And this has been an interesting year in regards to the supply chain. Okay, so let's talk a bit about pricing. Now, I promise you, and I've said this all the way back last summer, I said Ford is working hard to try to have control over dealers. This is a big don't be fooled. So much anger towards Ford and people saying, oh, Ford's making a fortune with these markups. Ford isn't making a cent with these markups. And actually, they're losing money because it's really bad publicity. Ford does not like this. Proof. It's been a while. Last summer, they're sending messages to dealers saying, hey, look, you better deliver to, a good chunk of the people that have reserved with you. This goes back all the way to the Bronco. And they're saying, we're gonna, there's mild threats, you could say, or I wouldn't call them threats, but anyways, information was given to dealers that if they didn't fulfill, and they're talking about officially implementing something like 90% of reservations need to actually go to the clients. Otherwise, the actual supply that you get would be reduced, which would hurt the bottom line, hurt the profitability of dealers. Remember, I've said for months now, since I've had this channel, dealers are separate businesses from the manufacturer. Don't be mad at Ford. The markups don't benefit them. They create bad publicity. It hurts Ford's bottom line, and Ford wants to avoid this. They want happy customers saying great things about their products. So that's on the dealer's hands. And anyways, there's a leaked email just recently. You can pick it up in written news. They're talking about how dealers again got an email saying, do not, essentially don't charge up. So things are pretty clear. Ford is working on trying to get dealers to sell at, of course, the retail price. And this has been going on for months. But to help you out, when you do go to order, when you get your invitation to order your Lightning, make sure you don't just drop your build and they give you a build sheet and say, have a nice day. I've said this for the Maverick, and I've said this for the Bronco. So essentially, I've been saying this for about a year. Make sure you get a signed offer. And a signed offer, you're going to have a percentage interest rate, you're going to have a price, and that's going to lock you in. The director over there is at your local dealer or whatever dealer you get your vehicle from, you order your vehicle at, they're going to sign it. This locks everything in. But more on price. Let's talk about the Pro model for a minute. $39,974. Now this is a bit of a don't be fooled section because that thing is not going to pull, the 7,700 pounds or what's been talked about much more, the 10,000 pounds. That's actually going to pull 5,000 pounds on a standard battery. To tow 7,700 pounds, you need not the standard battery. Well, not quite, sorry. You need the max trailer tow package. And there's an additional cost to that. You're going to add about $1,900 to that $39,974, and of course $2,000 for the whole transport. All manufacturers have this little thing called transport or delivery, whatever. Different wording, different strokes for different folks. But essentially, you need to add $2,000 to all the advertised prices. And then if you want to actually pull more than 5,000 pounds, you want to go from 5,000 pounds to 7,700 pounds, you're going to need to spend $1,900 more or less for the max towing package. Now, if you want to pull 10,000 pounds, you're not only going to need the extended range battery, but you're also going to need the max towing package on the extended range battery. So two things to remember. Otherwise, extended range battery, you're going to be pulling 7,700 pounds without the max tow package. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind for the Pro, unless you're, a major corporation fleet sale, you're not getting a Pro with an extended range battery. So 230 miles of autonomy. It looks like that autonomy was, it's conservative, you could say. I believe it was calculated with 1,000 pounds in the box and not driving, ideal, absolute perfect conditions. And we've seen that with the Mach-E. The Mach-E, the numbers they've given, under ideal conditions, driving really carefully, you can absolutely blow out of the water either the mileage ratings, the autonomy that they give. Do keep in mind though that 9.6 kilowatts of Pro power on board, that means plug into the truck and power appliances, tools, TVs, whatever it may be that's electrical. You're not getting that really quite, definitely not getting it at 39,974. What you are getting is 2.4 kilowatts. Now, again, max trailer tow package for the Pro, you're gonna have to get that unless you're comfortable with the 5,000 pound towing. For some, sure, maybe for some, they're looking at the Lightning as just a really fantastic electric vehicle that just happens to be a truck. Well, if so, good for you. There's nothing wrong there. And 5,000 pounds towing is quite a bit. If your truck is all about hobbies, well, that's going to help you do your renos on your home. It's going to pull your toys. It'll pull, a boat and trailer. A 20-foot boat with a trailer is roughly 3,000 pounds. 2 ATVs with a trailer, you're looking at about 2,000 to 2,500 pounds. So you can tow a lot. 5,000 pounds is a lot, but if you want to kick it up to 7,700 pounds, you're going to need that max tow package. Now, two important things for the Don't Be Fooled section: accessories. If you add accessories like we've seen for the Bronco, the Maverick, and GM, all sorts of manufacturers, there's a supply chain issue at the moment. There are, we're missing plastic, vinyl, supplies worldwide, globally. There's issues. There's issues with transport. There's just a lot of issues these days. So what can you do? Try to get your little accessories added on at the parts department. Try to order your vehicle, obviously with the equipment you want, but little added accessories like, for example, a bed liner, whether it's spray-in, plastic, a tonneau cover. Try to add all that at the parts department. Also keep in mind, though, that Ford is going to be producing far more Lariat with the extended range battery, so equipped 511A Lariat. So that's the Lariat with the additional equipment and the extended range battery. That's the model they're going to be building for 2022 the most. Then after that, the second greatest volume is going to be the Platinum with extended range battery. Obviously, I believe they all have extended range battery on the Platinum. You're getting it, you're getting it all on the Platinum. So then after that, they're looking at producing the third highest volume, the Lariat standard range battery, followed by the XLT standard range battery. So after that, the XLT extended range battery, the Pro with standard range battery, and finally the XLT 312A with a standard range. So what is an XLT 312A? That's your XLT, fully equipped, but with the standard battery. They're making the least of those. So if you're thinking either way, Pro or XLT model, just know that you might get passed over, because how this works, I'll give you an example. My local dealer, let's say they end up getting 10 for the year. Well, if you're in that block of 10, however, you're number 9 or 8, and you're looking at getting the least highest volume. So the lowest volume, the XLT 312 with a standard range battery. So a fully equipped XLT with a standard range battery, and your 8th or 9th, well, this could very well push you to 2023, just because ratio-wise, Ford essentially isn't making that many. They're making way more Lariats. So if you're a Lariat, extended range battery, 511, you're far more likely to get picked up. Now, that's just the way it is. There's nothing we can do about that. And I'm not saying you should get Lightning the way you don't want it. Make sure you get what's going to make you happy. But if you're on the fence and you're just not sure, well, maybe that's going to help you decide what to do. Okay, let's talk about charging. Very electrifying subject. So charging, lots of misinformation about this. Does not take you 70 hours if you plug into the wall. It would actually take quite a while. So just keep in mind, if you get the regular battery, the standard battery, it's going to come with a mobile power cord. This mobile power cord, you definitely do not want to be using it as 120 volt. It's going to be extremely slow. But if you do go with the level 2, which is 240 volts, so you can get that through, on your electric box, let's say in your garage, you could run a 240 volt outlet. If you don't already have it, it can be installed. And if you plug right into that 240 volt outlet with that Pro charger, what are you going to get? Well, you're going to get a maximum of 30 amps output. You're also going to get 7.2 kilowatt charging. So the math here is pretty simple. If you want to charge 72 kilowatts of power at 7.2 output, you're looking at 10 hours of charging. And really that's what Ford said originally in their media spec guide. They're saying that from 15% to 100%, you'd be looking at 14 hours of charging. So keep that in mind. Now, if you do get the extended range battery, this is good news. It's going to come with the Charge Station Pro. Now, that's good for indoor-outdoor use, just like the other free charger that we get with the vehicle. Its max output is 80 amps. So that's really good news. It also means that it has the capacity to do 19.2 kilowatts of charging. So every hour you're going to get 19.2 kilowatts back into the battery. Now the bigger battery on the extended means that from 15% to 100%, if my memory is good, it's going to be 13 hours. I will just put that up on the side here so we do get that exact time. But that's bigger battery does not mean that you're going to be inconvenienced by having it take 70 hours to charge, all because Ford provides good chargers. As long as you have, for the smaller charger, you just need your 240 volt outlet to plug into. And for the bigger charger, well, you're going to have that installed by an electrician, and you're going to have some really good charge times. Now, what you definitely would not want to do though is be stuck. Let's say you go visit some family and you figure, hey, they've got a 240 volt. I'm visiting them. I'll be empty when I arrive. I'm going to go for a dinner party. I'll be there for 5-6 hours, and I'll just plug into their 240 volt with the small charger. That's going to take a while. And imagine if they don't have that 240 volt outlet and you're plugging into the 120 volt. Well, then you're in trouble. That's the one that will take days and days and days to charge your battery. Now, I have talked about battery maintenance, battery care, good practices to employ. So I've got 2 videos on that. I'm not going to get into detail, but I just want to remind everyone one important point that I brought up in the video is not to top off your battery. That means on a very daily basis, you come home, you're at 90% or 95%, and you just keep plugging back into the wall so that you always top up at 100%. It's not good to play with a battery below 15%, nor ideally not that often above 80%. You charge above 80% ideally when you have big trips planned. And even if that's, 4 times a month, that's fine. It's just not to do it every single day. It's unnecessary wear and tear on the battery. Now let's talk a little bit about tech. We've all seen that incredible 15.5 inch screen, and it's awesome. But just so you don't get fooled, keep in mind that it's a 12-inch screen on the Pro as well as the XLT, unless you take the XLT added equipment, which a lot of you will for that extended battery. You'll get the extended battery does force you the maximum amount of equipment, the highest package on the XLT. But for those of you that won't do that, you're going to get a 12-inch screen. And don't be fooled, the 12-inch screen is awesome. It's going to have Sync 4. So it's going to be great with vocal recognition. It's going to be great for, passing, let's say, maps from your phone onto the screen without having a wired connection. It's going to do that oh so well. So it's a great 12-inch screen. I've got one in my Bronco. I've seen them often in F-150s on the fully loaded XLT F-150s, and it's a great screen. It's really functional. So don't be fooled into thinking that you absolutely have to max out your Lightning to get something that looks good, works good, and has a nice amount of technology. Now, do keep in mind on the topic of tech, if you are looking for Copilot 360 Assist 2.0, that's not going to be available for the Pro nor the XLT without that added equipment, the 312A package. So without maxing out the equipment package on an XLT, you're not getting the 360 Assist 2.0. Now, Active 2.0 is different. Active 2.0 is if you want the whole Blue Cruise, the vehicle drives itself experience. That's not available for the Pro, and it's not available for either of the XLT packages. Now, it is available once you kick up to a Lariat 510A, so that's the standard Lariat equipment. But if you want it standard with a Lariat, you're gonna have to kick into the 511. You're gonna have to max out the equipment on your Lariat. So I think for today, that sums up. We've talked tech, we've talked towing, and we've talked about, arrival, time, pricing. I hope this helps manage everyone's expectations to offer, a better Lightning experience. Like I said earlier in the video, if this takes off and this is actually helping people, I can fully flush this out the way I have for the Maverick and the Bronco, make 50 videos on it, cover every imaginable inch of the Lightning. But otherwise, as you can see, it's a pretty sunny day. We just had a snowstorm, a bit of a snowstorm yesterday, so I want to go play out in that snow with those Broncos. I wish you all more cars and more power. Here's to hoping that your order comes in soon. And until then, I wish you all, of course, a fantastic time. Play safe. Take care.